This is a crazy administration. This is like April Fool's Day. They want open borders. They want no voter ID. They want no paper ballots. They want high interest rates. They want your taxes are going to go up 4 times, they say, 4 times. They haven't been able to break, I got you the greatest tax cut in the history of this country. And they have tried, but they haven't been able to break it yet. But at some point, it expires in another fairly short period of time. So get ready for that one. These people want you to pay much higher taxes. It's crazy. And we could do it so much easier. Everyone can see the stunning contrast between our incredible success and Joe Biden's horrendous failures. And that's one reason why we're leading so big in the polls. That's really the reason. I think it's more enthusiasm now than 2016 or 2020, because you've seen how incompetent these people are. It's horrible. In the recent Rasmussen poll, we're up 44 points with Trump at 57, Ron DeSanctimonious at 13, and the rest of them down in single digits, really low. And in the morning consult that just came out, I wanted to see, because, every time you get indicted, I like to check the polls, because one more indictment that I think this election's over. One more. No, it's horrible. You get indicted for nothing. Can you imagine a guy? Let's indict my opponent. This becomes a third world country. The latest morning consult poll has us far ahead. We're at 59%, and the others are at like 12. One is at 12. I think that's DeSanctimonious, but he's rapidly being caught by Ramaswamy. Who's good? No, Christie's, he's eating right now. He can't be bothered. Sir, please do not call him a fat pig. That's very disrespectful. Don't call him. See, I'm trying to be nice. Don't call him a fat pig. You can't do it. You can't do that. So now, because you're not allowed to do that, and therefore we're not going to do it, okay? We want to be very civil, right? So the latest coefficient poll, which is a big deal, have us almost at 60-13 with our lead over DeSantis growing by 9 points just since a few weeks ago. And even the recent New York Times poll has us up by 37 points, and that was older, now, and Ron DeSanctimonious. The reason I don't like him is that I got him elected. When you get somebody, I don't want to go through the whole story because most of you know, but he came to me, he needed help, he was getting demolished in the primary. Stupidly, I said, all right, I'll do it. Because I didn't know the guy who was running against. His name was Adam Putnam. I said, I'll do it because, he was one of the 200 people that were on television. He was no better than anybody else. He was no Jim Jordan, that I can tell you. And he was on television and fighting a little bit on impeachment hoax number 1 and impeachment hoax number 2. So I said, you know what? If I actually told him, if I were Abraham Lincoln, if we brought him back from the dead, and if we brought George Washington back from the dead, and they gave you the greatest endorsement, and they hugged you and kissed you just like you did to Obama, just like, he did and Christie did. Who hugged and kissed Obama harder? DeSantis or Chris Christie? I think Chris Christie. Remember that? He grabbed him. Obama said, get this guy off of me. And that was the end of Romney when that happened. That could have been a good thing, but we are in New Hampshire, aren't we? Yeah. That's all right. No, but he asked me. So I said, you know what, Ron, let's do it. Go ahead, let's do it. So I gave him a very strong endorsement. And the next day he went like a rocket right through the thing, and he blew people that worked for Adam Putnam couldn't believe it. They never called me, but I didn't know Adam Putnam. He was the Secretary of Agriculture. He should have called me. I would have endorsed him. Sometimes it's the first one to call. Sometimes you don't do it at all. But he did. And then I had to get him through Gillum. Remember Gillum? He turned out to be a pothead, crackhead. But everybody thought he was the hottest one in politics. And Ron said, I won't be able to beat him. I said, well, he's the hottest man in politics. I said, you can beat him. Then he comes, he calls me, could you do a rally? Then he actually said, could you do 3? I think I did 3 rallies. We had massive crowds. Those rallies. We're doing a lot of them. Again, they're hotter now than anything because of what's happening, because of how bad it is. But I did the right. And he ends up winning the election. Then 4 years later, would you run against the president? You know, these maniacs are screaming, would you run against the president? Would you run? Will you run? And he goes, I have no comment. I said, what? Did he say that? I heard this. I'm watching a newscast. I'm watching a fake newscast. And they say, would you run against the president? He shouts out, I have no comment. Now, to me, that means he's running. So I said, that son of a bitch is running. Can you believe it? I just got him elected. So that's why I've been particularly hard on him. And fortunately, it's worked because he's crashing. He's like, he doesn't know what happened. He goes home. He says, what happened? What did I do wrong? You know what he did wrong? He ran. What he did wrong is he should have waited till 28. But I don't know if that would have held water because eventually they would have figured out, you know, you do need some personality if you're going to be a politician. Just a little. Some of them don't have too much. Like your governor, you know. Like your governor. In the new Emerson poll of battleground states in Arizona, we're leading Biden by a lot. And very importantly, at that same poll and in other polls, we're leading Biden by 7, 8, 9, 11 points. But you know what? When I hear we're leading by 2 or 3 or 4 points, you know, you got to understand, that's actually a lot for a Republican because they have a built-in vote that no matter who you are, even if you can't put 2 sentences together, you get like 40. We don't have that. We have to win the entire East Coast like we did in 2016 and like we did in 2020 too, by the way. But they're watching closely. They're watching. In that same poll, we're leading in the primary by 47. Think of that. 40, that's a lot. But we will not play prevent defense. You ever see in the NFL? They don't allow a point on the other team, not a point. Their defense is brutal. They can't get, now they just have to hold the other team one more series. They have to hold, just please hold them. Let's go prevent defense. Ping, ping, the end of the game. Touchdown, touchdown. We will not play. Is that okay? We will not play prevent, right? But everyone else is in single digits. Here's one you'll like. In the New Hampshire brand new coefficient poll, respected highly, the New Hampshire Journal has us leading by 43 points. We're leading by. And DeSantis, Ron DeSanctimonious, he's at 9 points. He's at 9. He's time to go back to Florida, Ron, and, you know, work on your insurance that's costing everybody a fortune. And now we're dominating Biden in the general election. Harvard-Harris has us up by 5 points, and we're up 18 points among independents. Remember, you know, they like to go around, well, will Trump get the independents? Will Trump get the women? You know what the women want? The women want safety. They want to have a border. They want to have low taxes, low interest rates. They don't want in their beautiful suburbs, you know, they talk about, oh, the suburban women. I think the suburban women like me. You know what I did? You know what I did? We have a lot of suburban. No. They don't want to have a low-income housing job built right next to their house. That's what the Democrats want. So I give them strong borders. I give them good safety. I give them a powerful military. Education, so important. By the way, speaking of education, because this is largely about veterans, we are going to bring education back to the states so that each state will run 100%. We'll keep approximately 3 people in Washington just to make sure that you're teaching English, okay, as opposed to another language. Okay, you know, you need a little coordination, like everybody has to teach English if you don't mind.